Hey hitters, it's your girl T Speaks here and I'm back with another video. I want to first start off by saying Happy New Year to each and every one of you. I hope this year is your best year yet. 2022 is up there and it's stuck there all year long, and that's on what? Period. Thank you so much for coming back into my channel. If you are new here, go ahead and click that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that every time your girl drops some new heat, some new fire, you'll be one of the first ones to know. And then you'll be one of my hitters. So, I mean, it's a win-win situation, you know? So, anyway, your girl is back with another story time, another story time, another story time. Yes, I said it, another story time. Now, this one is going to be probably one of the juiciest ones yet. Let me get a drink for this. Hold on. All right, y'all. Like I said, I needed a drink for this because it's like I said, it's one of the juiciest ones yet. I was gonna do some wine, be all cute and fancy, but this particular story I'm about to tell y'all today, yeah, I need a drink. So your girl got a little Cavassier in here with some Coke and a little bit of ice because like I said, this one here, anyway, let's get into it. Let me get a sip, hold on. All right, so a lot of my closer friends and family somewhat know this story, but y'all my hitters, so how they know y'all don't know about it. Anyway, so picture it. 2010, I would say. It was around the time Spring Bling came out, or was around. If you guys are too young to know, Spring Bling is something like a little spring break thing that BET does. And it was kind of like BET's version of MTV's Cancun Spring Break, but it was called Spring Bling. And it was just like an urbanized spring break. You get the kids, young people out, you know, to do their little thing, have a little bit of fun. And this year, I think that was the last year actually, they came to my city in South Florida. So I was like, okay, well, I want to go. So anyway, I ended up going. So fast forward to maybe a week before Spring Bling came, I was at a gas station. I was at a Chevron gas station. I'll never forget this day. I was at a Chevron gas station. I remember getting gas, and I remember specifically I had gotten hurt from at work or whatever, and I had like a little foot brace wrap on my foot and ankle, so I was your girl was a little handicapped. So I do remember this. I remember it taking a little bit longer than normal to get my gas. So I remember getting my gas, putting it in my car. At the time, my car only took about maybe $20 worth of gas. Now compared to $60. Anyway, so as I'm leaving, it took me forever to get the gas, walk in, pay, and all that, hopping around like a hobbit. So I'm getting ready to leave out of the exit, and I'm leaving out of the exit, about to head home, figure out what to do. I think it was like a Saturday. It was like a Saturday, yes, like Saturday, like 3 or 4 o'clock. And I'm leaving out, and I see this car pull up. Now, I'm about, I want to say my early 20s. I'm old enough to drink, I believe, but I'm under 25. So somewhere around there, maybe 21, 22, not exactly sure. So anyway, I'm single at the time. I hadn't been really talking to nobody or anything like that, so I'm just out doing me. So anyways, I'm getting ready to leave, exit out of the gas station, and then a dude comes up, pulls up, coming into the gas station, and it's a couple people in the car or whatever, and I'm like waiting for him to go past me or get out my way so I can get the heck out of that area or that driveway at the gas station. So he's not moving, so dude pulls up, he's all, you know, hanging all out the window, and he's got his window down, he's looking. Now I had my window down, he had his window down, he's looking, he's like, well, hey, how you doing, blah blah blah. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? And he was, you know, attractive at the time. So we exchanged phone numbers, and that was that. So I ended up hearing from him later that night. I gotta make up a name for him. His name is going to be, let me think. I should have had a name ready, but I didn't. Let me think. Name. blue. No, that's stupid. Fred. His name's Fred. We're gonna give him the name Fred. So Fred texted me later that night, just, you know, chit-chatting, you know, asking about me, what I do, you know, what I like to do for fun, you know, the normal little blah 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 foolishness or whatever. He was like, oh, we need to hang out sometime. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. At that time I'm still staying at home. So of course you can come hang out in my house, not the kind of household that I grew up in. I'm just gonna leave it like that. That'll be another story time for another day. I'll have to have 2 Coke and Cavassiers to tell that story. Anyway, moving right along. So he's like, oh yeah, we gotta hang out sometime. I'm like, okay, yeah, cool, let me know when, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, I got my own place, and this is what really got me. He's like, yeah, he's like, maybe, I think either a year older than me, or we were the same age. No, we were the same age. We were the same age. I think I was a couple months older than him. His birthday was like in November, mine was in June. So, like literally, exactly on the same day of those months. And so anyways, like I said, he was telling me about, oh, you know, I have my own car, got my own place, you know, we have a boat, and just all this stuff. You know, as a young girl, you're like, oh, okay, you got money, you got money, okay. So I'm like, okay, he seems like a good prospect. All right, cool, no worries. You know, we can hang out, we can talk a little bit, you know. He was, like I said, he was decent looking. He was about I'm 5'11", so he was at least, I think, either 5'10" or 6 foot, somewhere in those lines. You know, muscular build. He had a low cut, but it was like he was biracial. So, you know, he had the little curly hair, all the good hair, tattoos everywhere, like literally everywhere, tattoos from head to toe. And then one other thing that he had, which I thought was kind of cool at the time, he had like this dermal face piercing like right here, and I was like, ooh, yeah, that's pretty cool. Like, I have never seen anybody with that. That's just giving you like this edgy, cool, you know, look. Like, you know, okay, if you're not from here either, oh, you just perfect. So I'm like, ooh, I'm telling all my little friends, ooh, girl, I just met this dude, and he was this and he was that. And you know how typical you are, you first meet somebody, like, okay, all right. So fast forward to maybe a week or 2 later, he invited me over. He was like, oh, hey, you should come over and chill with me, because mind you, by then we had been talking back and forth, like texting back and forth, I don't know, for like a week or 2. So he was like, oh yeah, well, you should come hang out with me. Here's my address. He's like, what you doing? I was like, I gotta hang out with you after school, because at that time I was going to school at night. And so I think it was like either the night that I was out of school, like I didn't have class that night, or knowing me, I might have just not went that night. But anyway, so yeah, we ended up hanging out this one particular night. I think it's like a weeknight. And he's like, oh, you should come over. So he gives me the address. Lo and behold, the address is like maybe less than 10 minutes away from me. So I'm like, okay, cool, bet. I've never been to this neighborhood, but okay, it's close by. This is also like, I'm checking out these things in my head mentally. Mind you, my young, immature mom, I'm like, ooh, he got money, he got a car, his own place, and he's down the street from me. Ooh, girl. And so I get over there. I finally find it, because if you know me, I have 0 sense of direction. So it took me a while to ride around, and then I was nervous on top of that. So it was even more like difficult to find the place. Like I said, it was less than 10 minutes away, but I was nervous, I was excited, and I really didn't know where I was going, but I knew where I was going. Yeah. So I finally get there, whatever. He comes outside. He's like, oh, my car, right? He's like, you pull up here, you'll see my car. So I pull up there, and I see, because I seen this car, fairly newer model car. I think it's like I know what it was. Let me stop. It was like a newer model Lincoln MKX, I think it was, black, the tint on it, the leather. I was like, oh, mind you, this is my first car. I had my first car still, you know. I had my 97 Nissan Sentra, cloth seats, but that was Betsy though. Don't do her. But you know what I'm saying. It was like, oh, okay, I'm impressed. Okay, nice. So get over to his house, and they're in like these townhouses. Where he's staying at is these townhouses, fairly decent neighborhood, like in these big cul-de-sacs. So it's like a bunch of townhouses. They're all the same in this cul-de-sac. So I'm like, ooh, we got some money. Okay. So you know, we get out, greet each other. Hey, how you doing? Give like a little hug or whatever. You know, had a little perfume all sprayed down, so I could be, you know, cute. And so we go in, and when we get in there, he's like, oh yeah, I got some friends over. I got some other friends over. So I'm like, okay, cool. You know, that's not a problem, because I was already nervous, and I figured him having some other friends over would not be so awkward. And it didn't bother me as much, because like I said, I had just met this dude. I didn't know much about him outside of what he told me. And of course, people tell you what they want you to know. So I'm like, okay, cool, no worries. So I'm trying to remember. So we get in there, and he had two friends. There were a couple themselves. I think that was only two people. That there was a girl and a guy. I don't really remember their names, so there's not really a reason for me to make up names for them, because I don't remember them anyway. They're not really vital to the story. Anyway, so we're just sitting there watching TV, watching some movie. I think we were watching this movie. I remember it was this movie with Bernie Mac in it, and he was playing this girl's dad, and he was meeting the girl's boyfriend for the first time or whatever. So we were watching that or whatever, just sitting on the couch. So the other couple was sitting over here on this side, we were sitting over here just chilling, chit-chatting or whatever. I'm, you know, meeting his friends, the little couple that was over there chilling, and they're about our age. And then he was there sitting like not too close, but like maybe about this far apart from me. So we just chit-chatting, just talking about random stuff, cracking jokes a little bit. I wasn't cracking jokes like the way I crack jokes now, because I'm, you know, I was like, yeah, the chicken crossed her. I wasn't doing all that, you know, what I do now, judging mammy type stuff. I wasn't doing all that. So just trying to keep it cute. So anyways, we talked, we chit chat for a little bit, and just start getting into each other's background. He had told me that he had recently lost his grandmother, and he was from, I'll tell y'all later because y'all don't know him. He was from Virginia. He was somewhere in Virginia. And, you know, he lived with his grandmother all his life. His grandmother, you know, took place of his mom. He had said, I think he said he met his mom. Or I can't remember if he met his mom or he said he didn't meet his mom. Either way, it was a lie. But anyway, he stayed with his grandma. His grandma raised him for the most part. And, you know, he said he was mixed and just like little stuff like that. And then he starts to tell me a little bit more. Now, like I said before, this story has been told to a lot of my friends and family, but there's some things that I kind of left out because I didn't want to sound as stupid as I was at the time. But listen, this was over 10 years ago, and I don't care at this point. So anyway, so he gets to the part where he says, oh, well, you know, I just got out of jail. Huh? What? So mind you, by this time, the couple had went somewhere. I don't know if they went upstairs or if they went outside or something. So it was ended up being just two of us. So like I said, we were telling each other about, you know, hey, I'm this and that. I'm my parents this, you know, just talking casually. He's like, yeah, I just got out of jail. So I'm sitting here like, okay. And I remember specifically looking my eyes. I looked over to the door. And I was like, damn, how fast can I get off this couch and out this door? He just told me he just went to jail. I'm in here by myself. I don't know where this other people went, this couple went. I don't know if this is a setup. I don't know if he's joking. I don't know what the hell going on. And I was like, as I'm thinking all this in my head, right after that, like, I don't know how soon, because like I said, my mind just went to how fast can I get the hell out of this house, to him saying, oh, well, you know, don't judge me though. I'm not a crazy person. I'm not, you know, some creep, you know, some weirdo off the street. I used to sell drugs back home, And I did it because, you know, I had to take care of the household, and I had to, you know, live on my own once my grandmother passed, because I didn't really have anybody else to, you know, to be around. So that was like my only thing, my only choice. Not my only choice, but my only option. His only option at the time. And he just made it seem less dangerous. Like, it was still dangerous, but it didn't seem like scary. Like, he didn't say I was a murderer, or I'm a rapist, or I'm a mass murderer. It was nothing like that. He was just like, yeah, I didn't really have a choice. You know, I'm not, you know, this is my best. You know, I'm not that type of person. It's just something I had to do. You know, I was making a lot of money, and it was fast money. It was easy money. And so as he's telling me this, my anxiety's like going down. I'm like, okay, all right, okay, all right. And at this time, I'm like, okay, it's not that bad. Yeah, he's in the jail, but it's not bad. You know, not everybody's bad when they go to jail. I mean, they bad, but not terrible. So anyway, we ended up just talking for the rest of the night, and just deciding, you know, we were gonna hang out again. So that was how we met. We ended up dating for a little while, back and forth. Just not as, we dated, but it wasn't like, how can I say this? He was in and out of jail. I'm just gonna tell it like it is. He was in and out of jail during most of the time that we were together. He was in and out. Me being me, you know, oh, it's not that bad. Oh, he's just, you know, selling drugs just because, you know, he don't have his parents, and he's the only person, and And then, you know, me just being sympathetic about the situation, and just trying to be understanding, like, hey, you know, I have both my parents, and, you know, I haven't had to struggle like this, to hustle the way he's hustling. And that was pretty much how it was up until one specific day. So this was we were about 3 or 4 years in. I think it's like 4 years, 3 or 4 years in. I blocked so much out of my memory because I have like a little bit of PTSD from it. So 3 or 4 years, we were dating, and at this point he had moved in with me, because at that time, I was about a year into my first place. I had rented out this really nice condo somewhere in the city, living on my own. And you know, he moved in. He ended up, I guess, falling out with the guy he was roommates with, which was the guy that was the part of that couple that I told you guys I met when I first met him. So he fell out with him. They weren't roommates anymore. His dad had got remarried for like the 3rd or 4th time. Mind you, we told me before, he didn't have any family. He didn't have any family members. Me being stupid, oh yeah, okay. Then he starts talking about his dad, and I'm like, well, hold on. In my mind, my smart mind, I'm thinking, but you said you didn't have no family. Then in my stupid young mind, I'm like, okay, whatever, I'm just gonna go past it. Maybe he messed up. Maybe he made a mistake. I don't know. Dumb and dumber. Anyway, so fast forward to, I want to say it was around August. August, September. Like I said, I can't remember exactly because I have blocked a lot out, because what we're leading up to is the situation that I actually want to talk to you guys about. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of background on how I met him. So, like I said, at this point we're dating. He stayed with me. He was working at like this call center place. He had gotten a car, gotten his own car, working. I'm working, you know, got my own car. We're doing well. We're still, you know, just casually, you know, whatever, dating. So one specific night, I got a call on my phone. I remember it was a Thursday night. I remember taking a nap. I took a nap when I got off work, and I remember sleeping. It was like 7 o'clock, 7:30 p.m. And I get this phone call from his phone. So, you know, of course, like, you know, that's, you know, your man calling, you know, hurry up and, hello, let me answer this phone. So I, you know, like I said, I had just woken up and I was at my phone. Hello, you know, what's up? Hey, how you doing? So I answered the phone, and it wasn't his voice on the phone. So at first I was like, okay, maybe he's just playing, because like we play around a lot. I'm like, okay, maybe he's just playing. This is him. He just sounded his voice. And then I'm like, hello, and then I'm expecting him to flip the script. Hey, it's me. Da da da. No, it was another person on the line, and they were like, is this Sierra? And I'm like, yes, this is Sierra. And he's like, oh, well, we got him. And in order to get him back, you're going to give me $5,000 in 24 hours or he's dead. Now, me, I'm like, I'm not talking. I'm just like, my heart is like, I can feel my heart beating, but I don't hear anything. I don't feel anything. It's just silence. And then he hangs up the phone. No, then before he hangs up the phone, he's like, and don't try to call the cops, because I know where you live. I know you live in those pink buildings, and I know what kind of car you drive. And if you call the cops, I'm going to kill you too. Hangs up the phone. So I'm sitting here with the phone to my hand, like, I don't say anything. I don't say anything to him. I don't have the opportunity to, because I'm so stuck and shocked at what's going on. Mind you, I believed him, of course, firsthand, because I'm like, okay, I know he's working and clean cut, doing all this, but I know he has a past. And I'm like, using my common sense, I'm like, okay, I know he has a past, and he probably knows some, because I've heard stories of different things, and of course, like, he's been in and out of jail. So I'm like, okay, well, he does know some people. He knows some, all kind of people, people that I wouldn't want to be on the wrong side of their mad day. So I'm stunned. I'm sitting there stuck with the phone, just standing up in my room with the phone to my ear, like, oh my God, what do I do? So at first I'm like, I can call the police. I'm like, no, I can't call the police. I can't call the police because I don't know. He's gonna kill me. He knows where I live. I don't know what to, like, I can't really call. I don't know who to call. I don't have anybody that I can just call that's gonna, like, what do I do? What do I do? So I sat there for a minute. I was like, oh my God, how am I getting $5,000? How am I getting $5,000? Oh my God, what time is it? Because I had to make sure I count down before the 24 hours, because if the 24 hours come before I get the money, knowing I don't have $5,000 damn dollars, I probably just paid my rent, my car note, my insurance. Baby, I wouldn't have $5,000 if I didn't pay all of that. Because I was, like I said, young, on my own, first apartment. I wasn't making money like that. I was working for a law firm, but I wasn't making money like that. Hell, 5,000. Shoot, at that time I hadn't touched $5,000 in my life, like in one lump sum. So I don't know why my brain started to think like, oh God, what can I do to go get this $5,000? So it dawned on me. I was like, okay, let me call my cousin. My cousin, I'm not gonna say his name. I'm gonna give him a name. I'm gonna call him Jake. Okay, so I call my cousin Jake. My cousin Jake lives in a different state from me. I'm not gonna say too much because I don't want him to be identified, but he lives in a different state from me. He lives pretty far away, on the other side of, on a whole nother coast. Okay, so I call him. I don't remember if he answered first, the first ring or not, the first time I called or not, but I called him. I was like, oh my gosh. So I think I called him and he didn't answer, like I called back. And I don't usually do that. So when I do that, it's serious. So I remember calling him and he was like, well, hey, what's up? Are you okay? I'm at the gym. And I was like, no, I'm not okay. I told him the situation. Listen, somebody just called me. They told me that they got, what is his name I gave him? I don't know the name I gave him anymore. Fred. They got Fred. And they said that they kidnapped Fred and they got him and they're holding him hostage for $5,000. And if they don't get the $5,000 within 24 hours, they're gonna kill him. And if I call the police, they're gonna kill me. They said they know where I live. They described where I stay. They described my car. Like, they're gonna really come and kill me. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. Now, at first I called him because this particular cousin, I call him for everything. He's like my life coach, my financial advisor, my crisis counselor. I call him for everything, okay? Because he is extremely smart, extremely reliable. He's more of a brother than a cousin at the end of the day, okay? We grew up together. We lived in the same household growing up for a while. First cousins, but more like a brother to me, okay? Because I don't have a brother, so he's like a brother to me. So I figured, he would know what to do. He's extremely smart. He'll be able to help me figure out what I need to do to get this $5,000. So, mind you, this is my young mind at the time. So, so he calls me. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Let me walk out the gym. Let me walk out the gym. Hold on. I'm not hearing you right. I don't think I'm hearing you right. And I'm like, okay, so cool. He walks out the gym, rushes out the gym. He's like, okay, tell me. Sorry, guys. My camera died. It said it was fully charged, and of course, it freaking died right in the middle of the story. So if the quality is a little different, I apologize, but I need to get this story out. I have to get it out, and it needs to be out, okay? So let me fix it real quick. Okay, so where I was at, well, I was saying, so my cousin, like I said, walked out of the gym. He's like, well, let me, tell me the story again. Maybe I'm not hearing this right. And I'm like, yeah, you're hearing this right. Hold on. Okay, anyway, so he was like, so I'm like, yeah, you're hearing this right. They're gonna, I told him the story again, 24 hours, $5,000. And he's like, whoa, well, him being rational, mind you, I am not rational at that time. I just started being a little bit more rational. Anyway, so he's like, him being a rational person, he's like, we need to call the police. And I was like, no, they told me I could not call the police. If I call the police, they're gonna kill me. Like, I cannot call the police. There's no way I'm calling the police. He's like, no, we're calling the police. So I remember him putting me on hold and three-way calling the police. He called a non-emergency number, and then the police, he got on the phone and he's telling them the situation, and he's like, well, I do have her on the phone right here. So I guess he had, first off, let me go back. He had called them and talked to them and told them what was going on. He had me on hold. So he had told the dispatcher what was going on at first, and then he connected the call and told them, hey, Tierra, I have the police on the line. I just told her what happened. Now you can tell her, the full details of everything else. So I was like hesitant at first because I was like, these people gonna kill me. You trying to get me killed. So I tell them, because I felt, a sense of safeness. Like I said, my cousin's on the line. Police are on the line. I felt a sense of safeness. Although they were going to kill me for telling, I felt a sense of safeness. So I told them the story, from start to finish. And so they're like, okay, well, we're going to send over some officers to come over to your house immediately. So I'm like, okay, all right, okay. But I was like, well, they're going to kill me. They're probably watching me right now. They're probably waiting for me to call the police, because if they see the police coming, they're going to come up and kill me. So I was like, please tell them to be as discreet as possible. Like, can they get some unmarked cars? Like, I watch a lot of TV, because I'm like, can y'all get some unmarked cars? Can y'all please do whatever you can do to not let them know that, I called you. They're like, oh yeah, we'll get some unmarked cars, and we'll, have them come through the back, because I lived on the fifth floor. I'm sorry, I try to be serious, but I like to laugh and have fun. The fifth floor, the fifth floor. Anyways, I lived on the fifth floor. So there was stairs. There was an older building, so they had stairs, and they also had the elevator. So they were like, oh, well, we'll have to walk up the stairs, and we'll send some unmarked cars, and blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, that's feeling a little bit better. So I get off the phone with them. With the 911. And got the phone with 911. Oh, and then I'm still on the phone with my cousin. I'm trying to get better because I want my lighting to be as best as possible, y'all. So I can't believe my camera went out. Okay. So like I said, I was still on the phone with my cousin. He wasn't getting off the phone with me. So he's like, well, you can't sleep there tonight. You cannot sleep there tonight. You need to pack your bag with some clothes in it and get out. As soon as the police come, you need to leave. Like, there's no reason for you to stay there. So I'm like, yeah, you're right. Mind you, I'm still not in my right state of mind. So I just threw in any old thing. Because I knew I had to go to work the next day, because the next day was Friday. I was like, I knew I need to get some work clothes. Let me just throw something. I don't even think I put in underwear, bra. Like, I just threw some junk in the bag. By then, as I'm frantically running around the house, scared to turn the lights on, because I'm like, they probably sitting outside watching and waiting for me to turn the lights on. So like I said, the police knocked on the door. Now, you know how the police knock. The police don't knock like this. No, the police knock, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, oh hell, what is going on here? So I look out my cousin's eye. I was like, oh my God, someone's knocking on the door, someone's knocking on the door. I don't know what to do. And he's like, well, go to the door, look out the peephole, make sure it's the police. You know, he's walking me through as patient and gently as possible because, like I said, y'all, I was so stupid. Not stupid, but I was just so frantic and I was so nervous and so scared. I didn't know, my common sense went out the window. So I looked out the peephole. It was 2 police officers there. Now listen, let me stop right here. I'm tall. I'm 5'11", okay? The police officers that they sent 2 police officers. The first police officer was no taller than 5 foot even. 5 foot even. And even in this frantic, the other police officer was like an average height. Even in this frantic time, mind you, I couldn't remember how to call 911, couldn't remember how to pack no decent clothes. I had time to crack a joke. I was like, well, they sent a police officer, but he can't secure me. He can't protect me. He's too short. They gonna shoot right at me, not at him. Let's try this again. Camera went out again, y'all. I'm sorry. So I last left off saying how I was making fun of the short cop that was at my door and there was another cop there, 2 cops at my house. So I made the joke, of course, because the guy was short. I'm like, he can't protect me. He's a short little cop. He can't do anything. Anyway, I let him in, let them both in, told them the story, kind of went through everything, you know, again. And they wanted to see like if he had any belongings there. And I told him, yeah, he had belongings there at my house because he lived there. So I showed them the belongings or whatever. And then, you know, I guess they just did it for their mental investigation or whatever. And they were like, okay, so what are your plans? What are your plans for tonight? You plan on staying here? And I was like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. In my Maya Wilkes voice. I'm not staying here. So I had a bag already packed, like I said before. And they walked me downstairs. I locked up my apartment. They walked me downstairs. Well, actually through the elevator. Walked me to my car. Ciao. Now, didn't I tell y'all I asked them for unmarked cars, for undercover police officers? Cars were clearly marked. Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. They were in full uniform. And there was only 2 of them there. Anyway, I looked at it and I was about to go off, and I was like, you know, I can't go off because I'm scared right now. Because I told y'all not to have no marked cars coming to pick me up. These people gonna kill me. So mind you, like I said, my cousin was still on the phone with me. I had no idea where I was going. Okay, no clue. Not a clue in hell where I was going. But I remember them telling me, okay, well, follow us over to, I don't know, they told me to follow them. I was like, okay, cool. So I followed them. And we ended up driving to like an empty BrandsMart parking lot. And BrandsMart, if you're not familiar with BrandsMart, it's like a super huge, like mega appliance electronic store. And so their parking lot is huge. They were closed around that time, so the parking lot was empty because it had to be after 9:30. And I pull up there and it's all types of cop cars. Like, and this was literally around the corner from my house, maybe 1 traffic light away. And I mean, cop cars everywhere, and all of the cops are asking me these questions, and I'm like, okay, this is what I was asking for before. When I told y'all behind, I was finna be killed, and this boy was kidnapped. Is y'all finna help me get the 5,000? Are we finna go ahead and get the cameras rolling? Like, we need to get this done. We need this $5,000. Mind you, my mind mentally, I'm still thinking we need to still get this money, because y'all not finna let him get killed, okay? Not finna do it. So, like I said, a bunch of the cops just came up to my car, asked me a bunch of questions over and over and over, the same questions, and of course I kept telling them the same story. I wasn't crazy, I wasn't on drugs, I didn't have a mental breakdown, this was for real. I showed them my phone, and, you know, I told them, you know, showed them the number that they called from, which was his number, and I think they might have tried to call the number back. I can't 100% remember, but I know they took the number down or whatever, and they gave me a card, and they were like, a detective's gonna be assigned, and, you know, you're good for now. We'll call you if there's any updates. So my just on the phone with my cousin, and I get in the car and I'm just riding. I get on 95. That's the first thing I can think of is get on 95, because I'm like, okay, I just went to this big parking lot with all these cops here. They could have been following me, and the cops didn't follow me. So I'm like, let me just get on 95. That's the best place I can go. Let me get on 95, just drive. So I get on 95, start driving south. I don't know what, who, what, when, where, why. I just started driving freaking south. So I'm just driving. My cousin's like, yeah, just drive. Just let me think of something. He's like, well, you should go stay at a hotel to her tonight. So I ended up driving, just talking to him on the phone, looking in my rearview mirror, trying to make sure nobody was back there following me. Because again, this is, the interstates after 9 to 10 o'clock. It's not that busy, so I could tell somebody was following me. So I get to Broward County, Fort Lauderdale area, which is about 30-45 minutes away south from my house. And I end up going, he's made a suggestion to go to this one particular hotel, and I end up going, and this was like a really nice 4 or 5 star hotel. Okay, baby, real nice. So I get there, and I believe I was telling I think the police either called me again while I was trying to check in, or I was like still paranoid and still talking to my cousin. I can't remember which one it was, but I was in the middle of while I was trying to check in. Mind you, it was 2 African-American ladies there. They were being nosy, all up in my business, trying to figure out what was going on. So they overheard me talking about the situation and made like this, they just made it really uncomfortable. They were taking way longer than possible. It doesn't take more than 5 to 10 minutes to check into a hotel. But this check-in was like at least 30-45 minutes. So my cousin's like, okay, what the hell is going on? Because he was facilitating me getting in the room. He's like, okay, well, what's going on? It's been 10 minutes. It's like 10:30, 10:45. It's getting late. What the hell is going on? So I have him on the speakerphone. He's like, put me on speakerphone. So I put him on speakerphone. Damn it, lady, what the hell is going on? Like, what is going on? And this is completely out of his character. He is not this type of person. Not. But he was just as frustrated as I was. And he was like, well, damn it, lady, what's taking so long? What's the problem? Lo and behold, homegirl was sitting there listening to my conversation, eavesdropping. And when I left to go to my room, homegirl called the police in that county. And 5 or 10 minutes later, mind you, I'm already paranoid. I'm locking all the windows, all the doors. Once I get into my room, I get a boom, 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 boom on the door. I'm terrified again. I'm like, oh my God, they followed me to this hotel. They waited till I check in. They're gonna kill me here. I go look out the peephole again. It's police officers. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. What's going on? Open the door. They tell me that the hotel clerk heard my conversation, called them and told them what happened. I told them the whole situation. They were like, this is bizarre. This is weird. Unless he's in some type of mafia or some type of cartel, this is BS. This is not really, this can't be real. But here's our number if you need to call us and make a report or anything. But, have a good night. We were just called. We just came out as a precaution. So, fast forwarding along, I went to work the next day. I called my boss and told her what happened, like early that morning, because I was pretty sure I wasn't going to come in. I didn't sleep. Of course, I didn't sleep. But when I did go to nod off and wake back up, my phone was blowing up with text messages. So I'm getting text messages from his phone, from Fred's phone, and from another unknown number. The text messages started off with, there were countdowns, basically. Countdowns. Oh, well, you have 20 more hours left. And then I'm going to start cutting his fingers and toes off. Okay, well, you have 2 more hours. We're going to start ripping his toenails off. Okay, well, you have 10 more hours. We're going to start pulling his teeth out. And I'm getting these text messages back to back, back to back. So I'm already not able to sleep. But I'm getting my phone, like these notifications. And it's driving me crazy. I'm in the room by myself. I'm thinking, I'm hearing noises. I'm thinking people are outside. Like, I'm just paranoid. I'm just paranoid as ever. Freaking out. Scared to get out of the bed. Scared to go into work. That's really why I didn't want to go to work, because I was like, I'm scared to drive. I'm scared to get there. I'm scared. So I had sent my boss a text message the next morning about 8 or 9 o'clock, and told her what was going on. And she was really cool about it. She was like, oh my God, I can't believe you're going through this, but I really want you to come in. I really want you to come into the office, because I feel like you'll be safer if you were in the office. And you know, we'll protect you. And I really, y'all just don't know. I didn't expect that. Like, I expected her to be like, well, that's not my problem, girl. You need to get here or figure something out. Figure it out. So I eventually got up the call to go to work. So when I left the hotel, because I had the hotel for like, I think 2 nights originally. I think it was like 2 nights. So I had left the hotel, and I went to go to my car. Now, I didn't really just, like a normal person would get up, leave, lock the door, walk to their car, get in their car. I didn't do that. I was so scared and nervous, and I'm running off of maybe 30 minutes to 45 minutes of sleep. I'm looking out the window like, oh my God, okay, nobody's out there. Mind you, they put me next to the stairwell. So anytime anybody made any type of noise, I can hear it at my door. Anyway, so I'm looking out the window. Oh God, okay, I can come out. Okay, I can come out. So I open the door slightly. I'm like, there's somebody else out here. Okay, cool. So I walk out real slow. And then I'm like, okay, nobody's out here. And then I just hit it. I start running full speed. I had my little, office attire on, my little flats on, baby. I was gone. I ran to that car, unlocked that car so fast, got in the car, jumped in, locked the door, rolled the windows up, cranked that car up, and the hell out of that parking lot, because I was like, oh my God, somebody's gonna get me. The biggest issue was I didn't know what they looked like. So if I didn't have an idea what they looked like, so who to look out for, I didn't know what car to look out for. I just knew somebody was after me. And not only were they after me, they still had Fred locked up somewhere. Excuse me. And I'm not gonna have $5,000 in time, clearly. And he's about to die. And we're gonna die together. And they're gonna probably come kidnap me like they kidnapped him, tie us up and kill us together. I am nervous. I'm paranoid. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know where to go, what to do. So I get to the office. I park in the back. Again, like a ninja, hopping out the car. Anybody there? Okay, no. All right, let me get my badge out. Got my badge. Ran to the door, ran up the back stairs. I didn't go to the elevator because I was scared because they would probably find me through the elevator. So I ran up 5 flights of stairs, ran to the office, ran to where my boss was sitting at. I went over there and sat next to her the whole day. And then I get a phone call. So I get a phone call, and I walk over to, I think it was like an office, a conference room. It was like a conference room. And by that time I had told 1 or 2, like 2 of my closest friends at the time. They're no longer my friends, but we're not going there. We're gonna keep it cute. 2 of my friends at the time, told them what happened or whatever. So when our phone rang, they saw me get up and run to the conference room. They came running behind me. And when I answered the phone, they were like, no, when I answered the phone, all I hear is him screaming in the background. Like a scream, like a shriek, if you ever heard a grown man screaming and crying and yelling, like, it was more like, help me. So I'm like, oh my God, what to do? Shut up, Tunchi. Anyway, so I'm freaking out, and then they just hang up the phone. And they're still sending me text messages back to back of random bull crap. Oh, you better not call the police. Oh, we're still watching you. We want our money. You have until, you got about 5 more hours to get us our money, or else, like, just a bunch of bull crap. Mind you, I hadn't heard from a detective yet, because like I said, the next day they told me a detective would call. So, hadn't heard from a detective yet at that particular time. So then, like I said, I didn't really work that day. I sat in that conference room with my friends at the time, and we just kind of, like, everybody in the office knew something was going on, but they didn't really know what was going on. So they were like bringing me food, trying to calm me down. If you know me, I love goldfish, so that they went to the vending machine and got me goldfish, like, to eat, to like help me like just calm down, coffee, all that. I remember I did go to lunch, I think I did go to lunch. Went to lunch, I didn't eat, I just got out of the office with a friend, and I got a phone call from the detective. So I told the detective basically everything that happened, told about the text messages, Told her about the text messages, told her about the phone call I had just gotten, and, you know, just everything from there. And so she just took that information down. She's like, okay, thank you. If I get any updates, I'll let you know. Then she was like, well, have you talked to any of his family members? And I was like, you know what? I haven't talked to any of his family members. So I text his dad. Text his dad. His dad, the response I get from the number that was supposed to be his dad was like, after I told him everything what happened, hey, your son's been kidnapped, this and the other. And, you know, they're going to come after me if I call the police, but I did call the police, you know, just so you know. The text message responds back and says, oh, wow, thanks, Tierra. I can't believe you called the police. Now he's really in trouble. And I'm saying it in his voice, or what I thought was his voice. So I'm like, well, geez, like, that's your dad? Your dad would really say something like that? Like, what the hell? And what I remembered was there was more than one number that I had for his dad. That wasn't the number I had for his dad. The number that I texted his dad and told him that on was a different number. Was a number he had given me recently, telling me that it was his dad's number and to call him. So I ended up calling, all this while on my lunch, calling that other number. Called that other number. I don't think I got an answer. I didn't get an answer. So he calls back from the correct number, not the original number I got that sent that text message to. So he calls back. He's real nonchalant, not worried, not like frantic or anything. And I'm like, hey, this is what happened. Da, 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 da. He's like, Tierra, I'm sorry to tell you this, but I don't believe this. He's like, I don't really believe this is what happened. And I'm like, I know he ain't talking about me because I didn't lie. I wouldn't make up no shit like this. This is like got to be something, you know what I'm saying? Like this has got to be a joke. Because I would never lie about anything like that. He's like, no, listen, he's on heroin. He's been on heroin for some years now. My son can't be trusted. My son is a thief and he's a liar. I really don't believe that this has happened to him. This seems like this is some type of scheme for him to get money out of you. I'm sorry you had to hear it from me, but this is what it seems like. This doesn't make sense. This is not adding up. I know my son. My son has stolen family heirlooms from me, and he has gone missing for, while he was on binges. I just don't believe this. So you could call the police, you can contact the police and the detectives, but I don't really believe that this is really happening. This sounds like a hoax. So again, me being me, I didn't believe the dad. I was like, nah, he don't even talk about his dad that much. His dad is a liar. I don't believe this. This is all bull crap. This is not true. This can't be. This can't be. I'm talking to the detective. So I ended up going back to the office after lunch, still sitting in the conference room, just kind of trying to brainstorm in my mind what to do, how to do it. What am I going to do? Am I going to go back to the hotel? Am I going to go home? Like, what am I going to do? I get a phone call. Mind you, this is on a Friday. I get a phone call from the detective. The detective calls me. She's like, hey, Tierra. I'm like, hey, any updates? What's going on? Oh, hey. So I just went over to his job. Me and another officer just went over to his job. We talked to the people at his job. They said that Fred came in and picked up his check today. They got paid today, and Fred walked in smiling, laughing, joking. No issue. Came and picked up his paycheck today. Silence. My heart dropped. I'm like, ain't no way. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way. I know damn well. Okay. I'm like, you know what? I don't even know if I believe the detective. This is how delirious I am, people. Stick with me. Stick with me. Almost done here. So, so yeah. So that was, the police was like, the officer was like, no, I don't believe this. This is a hoax. I called the other number that they've been texting you on. It's It's like a Google Voice number, not a real number. It doesn't really go to anybody. Anybody can get that number. I think this is a hoax. I think this is all just a waste of time. He's just, you know, he's playing with you. He wasn't really kidnapped. This is not what happened. So at this point, I go from being nervous and scared and anxious to being angry. And not your regular everyday angry. I've turned into a thin line between love and hate angry. Like, I switched just like that, and I saw red. I saw red. And I'm like, oh, you really effing tried me. Oh, really? You're gonna try me? Okay. So it's about 4:30, 4:45, and I get a phone call from him, Fred. Fred calls me from his phone. Yo. Fred calls me. I said, Fred, I already talked to the police. I know this is bull crap. I know that you're playing games. I'm not stupid. Oh my God, you called the police? I can't believe you called the police. Why would you call the police? I said, well, what you want me to do? You thought I had $5,000 to my name? Hell no, I don't have $5,000. What was I supposed to do? They threatened my life. He's like, oh, I can't believe you called the police. This is really real. I did come in to pick my check up. The kidnappers, they were outside. They took me to my job. They took me to my job. They were standing at the door waiting on me. I had to go into my job and pretend like everything was okay so I could get my check because they wanted the money because I owed them some money. So I went into my job and got my money. And then since they found out that the police were called, they put me in the car and they started beating me up they started driving down 95 and they would beat me up in the car. They beat me up. They beat my brains. Not my brains out. They beat me up. My head is bleeding. My eye is black. My lip is fat. I'm bleeding all over the place. I'm probably going to need staples. I'm probably going to need staples in my head because they just beat me up really badly. And then they just put me out on the side of the road on 95. If you know 95 is one of the largest interstates in America, okay? By the 6-lane highway, goes north and south from here to probably from Florida to wherever, up to, can't even think about it. It's a big interstate, okay? It's a big interstate. It's a busy interstate. It's huge, okay? Now, mind you, I don't hear any type of road noise. It's silent. Mind you, it's 5 o'clock traffic on a Friday. Rush hour on I-95, Interstate 95, a huge interstate, 6 lanes each way, north and south. Yeah, I'm walking down 95 right now. They beat me up and kicked me out on the side of the road. I can't believe you called the police. This made it worse. I don't know what else I'm gonna do. These are some crazy Jamaicans. They're known for killing people. I gotta get out of town. I'm on my way to the bus station. Mind you, silence in the background. I don't hear no horns honking, no tires screeching, no ice cream truck, no 18-wheeler riding past. It is silence, but he's screaming and yelling on the phone. I got beat up. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. I got beat up. They're finna come and kill me. They were gonna come and kill you. Why the hell would they put you on the side 95? So this fool, at that point I was done. I was like, you know what? You're stupid. Whatever. Hung up the phone. And then he started with the crazy, stupid text messages. So I ended up going back to the hotel to stay there for the weekend. And that night I went home. I went to the hotel, back to the hotel, because I still wasn't, I'm not gonna lie, I still was a little hesitant because I'm like, okay, maybe there is somebody really after me. Just to be safe, I'm gonna go back to the hotel and stay there. He's sending me text messages about crazy shit, saying how they're still after him. They're looking for him. They're gonna come kill him. He's at the bus station. He's gonna take a Greyhound out the state, and they're looking for him. And I should probably get out of town too because they're Jamaican and they're crazy. They're gonna come kill him. They don't play about their money and all this crap. And he's like apologizing. I can't believe. I'm sorry I put you in this. I didn't mean to get you involved in this. You know, just this bull crap story. But these are like random text messages that he's sending me from like 10 o'clock at night until maybe 5 o'clock in the morning. Mind you, I'm sleeping, but I'm not sleeping still because I'm still paranoid and I'm still like freaking out from what just happened. And And on one end, I'm like, okay, this really happened. This is real. On another hand, I'm like, this is bull crap. But I'm still in the middle, and I still can't understand or fathom what the heck is really going on. I know I'm still nervous and afraid because this is not my lifestyle. This is not me. This is not something I'm used to. So anyway, the number that was supposed to be his dad's number sends me a text saying, he's mad because I called the police and just a bunch of bull crap, which I know figure out it wasn't his dad because it wasn't from the number that his dad called on. It was some fake number, much like the fake number he made to send the crazy text messages. So Monday comes around. It's time for me to either figure out what I'm gonna do at this hotel, figure out if I'm gonna go home. I'm at work, still freaking out because I don't want to go home because, of course, my life's still been threatened. And again, this is not me. This is not my life. This is not my lifestyle. So, one of my now very, very close friends, overheard the conversation, and she was like, "Hey," I'm at my desk at my cubicle. She's like, "Hey, I heard, you got some stuff going on. I've had a conversation with my husband, and he said, it's fine if you want to come to my house. You can come sleep over at my house." And I was like, I had tears in my eyes. I'm not even really that emotional, but that right there, and she was just a coworker. I didn't even know this lady like that. We had some random conversation. I can't even go into detail on that. That was just God. That's it. I just have to leave it as. It was just God. So I was like, yeah, okay, cool. So I went over to her house, stayed over there for a couple nights. Still iffy, still nervous, still scared, still jumpy. And then one day, I think it was like middle of the week, like a Wednesday. From like that Monday, I stayed there to like maybe that Thursday or Friday, Wednesday. No, I stayed there for a week. Friday came around, and I had got this in me, something burned inside that says, you know what? I was thinking about just moving, getting all my stuff, moving. I was going to pay move, find me another place to live because I did not want to go back to my house because I thought that people were really going to kill me. Something got into me that Friday, and I said, I'm not leaving my dang on apartment. I had a very nice apartment. It was actually a condo. Rent was dirt cheap. It was in a gated community. I was overlooking the water. I said, hold the hell up. I'm not moving from my house where I live out of my city because of some bull crap. I'm going to protect myself. And if you come into my house in the state of Florida where it's stand your ground, I'm going to stand my ground. I'm not moving. I'm not spending this money. I don't know what it was. It was like this empowering moment that I just had this day at my desk. And I told my friend at the time who was sitting right across from me, and I was like, I'm not moving. I'm going to get a gun. I'm going back home. She was like, are you sure? Are you really sure? Like, what? I'm getting a gun and I'm going back home. So she was like, okay, hey, you want to do it? Let's do it. So I remember calling my uncle. My uncle came and changed the locks for me to the door. I went to the store. I didn't have my license, my concealed license at the time, but in Florida, you can purchase a gun. You just have to wait like 5 business days. Buy it, wait 5 business days, you can come back and pick it up. So that's what I did. And I went back home. The day I got that gun, oh baby, I went back home. Okay? I went back home. I bought my firearm. I went back home. Big, bold, and proud. What's up? Who want to come to this? If anybody, I called my dad, I called my uncle, I said, if anybody come through this door, baby, I'm finna unzip and let her rip. Unzip. And to this day, I still have that firearm, and I will never get rid of that firearm. Why? Because that empowered me. Not because it was a firearm, but because, baby, I said I was never, ever letting anybody ever take my freedom away from me. I'm not letting anybody make me scared, afraid. I will never be afraid. I will never. I'm going to always protect myself. Now, you got family members, of course, yeah, people can protect you, but I said never again will I ever be afraid to go in my house. I will never be afraid to come out in public. Anybody want it, they could get it. And I was real Florida. Anybody want it, they could get it, and what about it? And what about it? And since that day, I've gotten into, you know, protecting myself and always having, and I eventually got my concealed weapons license through the state of Florida. Currently still licensed. And I just never, since then, I've never been afraid of anybody, and will never, ever, ever allow anybody to scare me in that way. Now, I still mentally have somewhat flashbacks, a little bit of PTSD from it, from the whole situation. And I'm gonna do another story time on when he stole my car. That's gonna be the next story time, and where he's at today, if you don't already know. But I figured I'd start off with this part of my series about Mr. Fred. But you guys gotta stay tuned, because I'm gonna tell you about how he stole my car. Yes, this was about less than a month after the whole kidnapping fiasco. And it's gonna be interesting to figure out where he's at today. What's the status of him today? I'll go into that, but you gotta stay tuned. You gotta subscribe to my channel, babe. It's lit over here. You wanna be one of my hitters and have my back like I have yours? Then you gotta subscribe to my channel. You gotta like my video. Comment down below and let me know if you really, really wanna hear this story. Cause these stories get juicy and they get good. I hope you guys enjoyed my story time. It took me a while to gain the courage to tell this story, and the rest of the stories there's gonna be subsequently after. But it's been about 10-11 years later. I've moved on. I'm a better person. I've grown from it. I've learned from it. And nobody's gonna stop what I got going on. You feel me? I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, because baby, I'm coming back with the rest of the stories about this situation. It's gonna be a whole series, baby, and it's so good, so juicy. Please stay tuned. I love you. Thank you for watching. Bye.